This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Wednesday, June 12th. First up, the hidden podcast audience, The Side Hustler. In recent years, Signal Hill Insights has found more business-to-business and general advertisers aiming to connect with small business owners. Given the prevalence of side hustle businesses growing to the point they effectively are one-person small businesses, Signal Hill Insight shares data on how just into podcasts those SBOs might be. The spring 2024 podcast download from Signal Hill Insights and Cumulus Media found 43% of weekly podcast listeners have a side hustle to supplement their day job's income. When filtered for podcast consumers aged 18 to 34, that number jumps to 60%. Next up, the IEB Tech Lab CEO on how nothing will be the same in digital advertising. In the lead-up to IEB Tech Lab's 10th anniversary, Digiday interviewed CEO Anthony Katzer about the upcoming conference titled Nothing Will Be the Same. 2024 marks the 30th anniversary since the first banner ad. Advertising has changed drastically, even in just the last 10 years. Challenges currently facing the Tech Lab and wider industry include encouraging further adoption of VAST 4, seller-defined audiences, and more collaboration from the big tech names that can influence that wider industry. Next up, Apple is quietly replacing SK Ad Network and PCM with a new ad attribution framework. During Monday's Worldwide Developers Conference, Apple also released dev documentation for Ad Attribution Kit, a new framework for Apple's privacy-focused ad attribution tech. Currently, Apple's ad attribution consists of SK Ad Network, focusing on privacy preservation ad attribution, and Privacy Click Measurement, which does the same, but for the web. Both product names appear to be phased out for app and web arms of the wider ad attribution kit. Writer Allison Schiff proposes this rebranding and consolidation could signal Apple is getting more serious about ad measurement. Up next, Netflix, Disney Plus notched big ad spend gains in Q1. Big streamers saw big gains in Q1 ad revenue. Disney Plus reports a 210% year-over-year increase in U.S. gross media ad spend. Netflix reports 135%. TikTok grew 100%. Amazon Ads and Fire TV pulled in 84% online video ad spend growth, while advertisers spent 14% more on Amazon OTT ads, that's over the top. According to guideline numbers, podcasting's biggest platform for discovery, YouTube, reports 38% year-over-year growth for YouTube Select and YouTube TV's online video ads. YouTube also saw 10% growth in over-the-top spending. And finally, Kosar sues podcasting company over ceremonial bet that led to his firing from Browns radio gig. Former Cleveland Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar is suing Big Play Media CEO Kendall Miles, accusing Miles of violating the terms of Kosar's contract and threatening him. According to the suit, Kosar signed a contract obligating him to host a monthly podcast for Big Play and make 2 public appearances each quarter during NFL offseason. Allegedly, a Big Play co-manager forced Kosar to place a bet on a Browns game using a sponsor's app the day sports betting became legal in Ohio. The bet led to the Browns firing Kosar, as employees of NFL teams are banned from betting on games. Big Play has denied the allegations. As for the rest of the news, Spotify places 3rd in Morning Consult survey measuring the brand's Gen Z trust most relative to all consumers. A second edition of Podcast Days, an industry conference in Spain that attracted 550 attendees last year, has been announced for October 17th and 18th. The source is in Spanish, by the way. And Campaign asks brands and agencies if the wider adoption of retail media is squeezing brand budgets. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by myself, Newton Shadowcotty, and Brian Barletta. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.